Hello everyone, welcome to today's training. Yeah, so as we saw in the chat box, our Zoom master reminded that if you could, please change your name to club name and your name. And if you don't know how that works, you can see all the participants. Most of them have already changed their name. And today, there will be 2 training sessions in this online meeting. The first one will be delivered by our CGD, Doris. She will going to talk about deliver social speeches. And the second part will be delivered by Lester Lin. He will talk about how to be a great evaluator. And first of all, I'd like to thank all the team members who helped me to put this event together, because this is in such harsh environment, but we're grateful that we can still have such great district training through online meetings. So welcome everyone to the District 67 Toastmasters Pathways Interactive Online Training. So during the meeting, if you have any question, you can type in the chat room, and we will have a Q&A session so that you can interact with our speakers, our trainers. And so I'd like to thank all the leaders who said yes to join this team. And first, let's start the training with Doris. Doris' project is called Deliver Social Speeches. This project, if you have started Pathways, you will know that this is an elective project you can do in your level 3. So somebody will choose to do different social speeches. And today, Doris will not only tell us how to give a good social speech, but also give us 2 demo speeches to show you how she did it. And with her session, she will first have a 15-minute introduction and then demo the speeches for us. So let's put our hands together. And oh, by the way, remember to mute yourself if you're not a speaker. And our Zoom master will help us to do that if you forget to mute yourself. So let's put our mutual hands together to welcome Doris.
Thank you, our gorgeous hostess, Jenny. And also, she is the International Chinese Table Topic Champion speaker this year. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to share my learning in this project. And briefly, today I am going to break my speech into 3 parts. The first part I am going to do with my slides, because I will introduce the project. And then I will go into the inspiration section, telling you the secrets behind my speech. And finally, I'm going to demonstrate my 2 social speeches. And hopefully at the end of my presentation, my workshop, you can give me some feedbacks. So ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Okay, so I am going to share my screen with you. So here we go. The introduction of social speeches. Ladies and gentlemen, I start my pathway learning with innovative planning. Now my level is 5. I'm going to finish my IP this June, and further on, I'm going to practice on my master presentation. So how about you, my dear fellow members? I'm sure you also chose your path and start your learning on pathways, right? Personally, I think that learning is a very beautiful thing. And now I'm going to have an overview of our innovative planning on level 3. If you want to finish level 3 in IP, you need to finish at least three objectives, three projects, sorry. The first one is an obligatory and another two elective projects. Actually, we have 13 elective projects on social speech. Now, I'm going to ask our gorgeous Jenny to read them for you. So what are the 13 elective projects you can choose from?
Yeah, so the 13 projects that you can choose from are deliver social speeches using presentation software, connect with storytelling, creating effective visual aids. The 5, using descriptive language. 6, make connections through networking. 7, focus on the positive. 8, inspire your audience. 9, prepare for an interview. 10, understanding vocal variety. The 11th, effective body language. 12, active listening. And last, know your sense of humor.
Thank you, Jenny, for giving me a break for some water. So ladies and gentlemen, actually we have abundant materials to choose from, right? And today I'm going to focus on social speeches. First of all, I want to give you an overview about social speeches. If you want to finish level 3 on IP path, there are 3 principles you need to follow. The first one is you need to deliver 2 different types of social speeches. And the second one is that each speech is 3 to 4 minutes. And then you need to present the 2 speeches at 2 separate club meetings. So is that clear for you? Okay. And then I'm going to talk about the types of social speeches. So I don't know how many of you have already done this project. If you have done, you will better understand what I am talking about. There are 3 different types of social speeches. The first one is a toast. What is a toast? A toast is that you're raising your glass in honoring of someone. This is typically given in a wedding. And to keep this in mind, although you are the speaker, when you give a toast, you need to make the audiences to focus on the honoree instead of yourself. Okay, and the second type of social speeches is acceptance speech. Acceptance speech is that when you are, when sometimes you are called upon to deliver a speech because you are receiving an award, a prize, or an honor, and the chance to deliver an acceptance speech is rare. So you need to keep in mind that if you are doing the acceptance speech, you need to prepare in advance. It is not an impromptu speech, although it may sound like impromptu, but actually it is a prepared speech. And the third social speeches I want to share with you is speech in praise of an individual or a group. When presenting this award, the goal is to honor an individual or a group for their accomplishments. Also, you need to remind the audiences why he or she are being honored. So there are 3 types of social speeches, okay? A toast, an acceptance speech, and a speech in praise of an individual or group. Now we are going to go through the guidelines of social speeches. And I want to invite our hostess, Jenny. Jenny, do you think that a social speech, when we given a toast, when we are giving an acceptance speech, or when we want to honor a specific someone, Do you think that we also need to follow the structure of a speech? Do they
Yes.
need to have an opening, body, and conclusion?
Yes, because just like we always say, even if it's just 1 minute, it's still a speech. You need a structure.
Well said, exactly. And Jenny, what else do you think that is very important for a social speech? Can you think of anything that is very crucial, that is very vital for a social speech?
Like your body movement or the language you use for the special occasion.
Very correct. Because, you know, when we give the social speech, it can be in a wedding, it can be in a eulogy or a graduation day. So the language and the mood should be very different, right? So we need to fit into the occasion. Okay, and exactly. Here's prepare. You also need to prepare an opening, body, and conclusion, and the mood and the language should fit into the occasion. And here is also very important. When you are doing the social speeches, avoid embarrassing anyone and be sincere, avoid cliche, and also use vocal variety. Okay, now I'm going to tell you that there is a part in our project that is called the project checklist. I found this one is very helpful when we are doing any kind of speech. It can always provide you guidelines, and just follow the guidelines and we can find the shortcuts to finish our project. So ladies and gentlemen, remember, always go to Basecamp. You want it, we have it, and more than we need it. So this is all my sharing. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm back. So I'm going to give you that when we are doing the social speeches, we need to follow our guidelines. We need to know there are 3 different types of social speeches, and we need to follow the principles of social speeches. Now, I'm going to tell you the second part. Now, because I do not need to use because I do not need to use my PPTs, so I can stand up and talk to you. Is my voice clear, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, now I'm going to tell you my stories behind my speech. I'm going to reveal the secrets while I prepare for my social speeches. The first type of social speech is giving a toast. And why I giving a toast, why I choose the social speeches is because actually I have a counselor brother, and giving a toast is his everyday job. I was often there watching him giving toast, mostly at weddings. And actually, I also had quite a few opportunities to invite some VIPs to give toast in some occasions. For example, our former Tainan City Mayor, Lai Qingde, also our future Vice President of Taiwan. I invited him before. Also a lot of legislators. I often dream that I can be like them. One day I can be invited to give a toast, either in wedding or in graduation day, whatever, because I want to impress the audiences at present. I want to make them burst out into laughter, or I want them to shed into tears. And later, actually, I also had some opportunities to give toast in some occasions. And really, I need to thank the training in Toastmasters, which facilitates me when I delivering the toast. I feel it's a pleasant and successful experience. This is my story behind why I love to give toast. And the second inspiration for the acceptance speech. Do you still remember what I explained to you? So when you are called upon to deliver a speech, when accepting an award, you need to deliver an acceptance speech. And my inspiration is from the beauty contest, the Oscar award ceremony, and the Golden Horse ceremony. Do you know why? Because, okay, for example, this was very impressive during the beauty contest. Ladies and gentlemen, the champion of the beauty contest, Miss World, goes to blah, blah, blah. And the beauty came to the stage, too nervous, saying, oh my God, I was so surprised. I don't know what to say. Oh, thank you, everyone. This is my first impression about an acceptance speech. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do you feel about the beauties, the hostess, or the beauties or the actors or the actresses? How's their performance in delivering the acceptance award speeches? Actually, it may sound that this kind of speech is spontaneous, is impromptu speech. But I need to tell you the truth. Actually, all the successful acceptance speech is prepared in advance. But it may sound like an impromptu speech, but actually they prepared in advance. So next time, please pay attention to the beauties or the actors or actress when they're accepting the award. And the third inspiration of honoring an individual or a group, my inspiration was from my friend in Toastmasters, because one day she happily announced that, Doris, I got my DTM trophy. And I'm so excited. And immediately I had the inspiration that I want to honor my friend, because you know how excited she was. She has joined Toastmasters for 19 years and finally she got her top honor. What an excitement moment. So we need to recognize and we need to show our appreciation to her efforts. So that is what I have, what inspired me to do these 3 different kind of social speeches. But actually, I'm not going to present the second accepting an award speech because I'm still waiting for the pride of Miss World, or I'm still waiting for the chance to be the champion speaker, or anyone there you want to give me an award. So I will prepare for that award. Thank you. That is all my sharing about the introduction of social speeches and also the inspiration, what inspired me to do the social speeches. Hope you enjoy it and you understand it and you like it. If you really don't like it, you can give me feedbacks and I will give you more detailed explanation. Thank you. So where is my timer? Is my time okay?
Yes, it's about time to start the demo. Yeah, as Doris mentioned that she's not going to demo the second social speeches, but she would demo the other 2. So the first speech she's going to talk about is Speech in Praise of an Individual or Group. And her title is Cheers to the newborn DTM. So let's see how Doris will give the cheers to the newborn DTM.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. On behalf of District Trios, today I'm here to present this DTM Award to a very dedicated and respectful Toastmasters, Dr. Irene Chang. Dr. Irene is the newest DTM in our Division K after joining Toastmasters for 19 years. When I first listened to the ladies talk, I was wondering, I was surprised, and I was so impressed. Wow, this lady was so brave. Do you know why? She was always the art queen. Long pauses, short pauses, every now and then, with her trembling English. But later, it turned that she showed us a perfect example, that we don't need to be perfect to start. We start, and we will be on the way to be perfect. Dr. Irene Chang made progress, one speech after another. Now, she is a fluent, confident English speaker on the stage. Truly our role model. A DTM means a distinguished Toastmasters. To get to a DTM, you not only have to deliver numerous speeches, play various meeting roles in club meetings, but also you need to serve officers in club level, division level, even in district level. Moreover, you also need to serve as club coaches, mentors, or sponsors. You also need to do your HPL project successfully. Dr. Irene has done all of those. She chartered Charming Toastmaster Club, and she offered her own clinic as the meeting venue. She was the coach to Jai Toastmaster Club and successfully helped the club to become distinguished. And she executed HPL program with the combination of Zonta International, and I was lucky enough to witness her great leadership. DTM is a signal that we are capable in leadership and in communication. It is highly appreciated all over the world. It is the doctorate degree in Toastmasters. Congratulations, Dr. Irene. You fulfilled the true meanings of a DTM. Your efforts and your dedication are everywhere that everyone can follow your steps. Just remember to put your trophy into a man room to remind yourself that you need to keep telling the world your Toastmaster stories. This is my deepest appreciation and my recognition of your hard work. Congratulations, Dr. Irene Chang, our newest DTM in Division K.
So that concludes the first demo of Doris on speech in praise of an individual or group. And now she's going to give us the second demonstration, which is a toast. Her title is A Toast to an Evergreen TM. Let's welcome Doris back.
A toast. I just spilled the water. A toast to an evergreen Toastmaster. Dear fellow Toastmaster friends, in Toastmasters, there are quite a few members who come and go like 4 seasons. For example, in springtime, they joined us, but in wintertime, they just disappeared. However, there are still quite a few Toastmasters who are like evergreens. They not only stayed in Toastmasters for long, but they provide shadows for fellow members to have shelters in hot summertime and in cold winter time. Today, I'm going to give a toast to an evergreen Toastmaster. He is a golden single noble, even a diamond single noble. He's a school teacher, now a school director. Tim, is Tim over there? Remember, Tim, the school principal title is still waiting for you. Tim, as far as I am concerned, Tim is gifted, diligent, caring, and very responsible. Let's see how these Toastmasters set the best role model in Toastmasters in Division K, and how this Toastmaster impressed me in so many ways. First of all, gifted. Singing, dancing, playing the piano, telling stories, hosts a lot of international training. And there's still a lot that she doesn't want to show in front of us. I myself is good enough too, but he is way much better than I am. Luckily, there's one thing I'm better than him. Only one, cooking. Second, diligent. He has been joining Toastmasters for 15 years. And he served as club president, VPE, SAA, and secretary, division directors. An amazing officer. He is also a most welcomed keynote speaker, and he is also an amazing contestant. He joined international speech contests in 3 languages, English, Chinese, and Taiwanese. And he also got 3 international awards separately. An amazing contestant. But Tim, remember, the world champion is still waiting for you. Number 3, caring and responsible. Can you believe it? He has been the president for 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Even now, he is still the president of ASTC. Because of his care, because of his responsibility, ASTC even can survive in the most difficult times. So ladies and gentlemen, in this special moment, I want to give my sincere toast to this evergreen Toastmaster, Tim Wu. Tim, you set a perfect example for all the members to follow. Cheers. Back to our hostess, Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you, Doris, for the introduction and the 2 demos of the social speeches. Now we have 5 minutes of QA. So if you have any question, you can type in the chat room, or you can raise your hand and I will see it on the participants chart, and we can have Doris answer the question. Anyone has question for Doris? No? So I have a question for Doris, because you mentioned that you've witnessed some social events in your life, and that inspired you to deliver some social speeches. Oh, we have a question. Maybe that first. So it's from Joseph Calpin. He asked, "What do you feel is a difficult aspect of creating a social speech? What do you think is the difficult part of creating a social speech?"
The most difficult part, I think, okay, let me state, okay, I think the most difficult part is that when you don't know the person very well. You know, in Taiwan, especially, we are giving toasts to wait-ins just because you are a VIP. You are a counselor, or you are the mayor, or you are the legislator. And sometimes because the occasions are so many, so you do not have so much information about the one you are going to give the toast. So, and also you don't know what are the parts they don't want you to mention. So I think the most important part is if you want to give a toast and if you don't want to offend people, I think you need to have a preparation with their help. You can ask them, what do you want me to give the toast? What are you going to, what do you hope to put in my contract when I give in the toast? So I think the most difficult part is that you don't exactly know what they want you to say about them, because we have so many parts. So what specific part would you like to say? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very important because you don't know what the people who you're going to toast or you want to present, what they want to hear. And our second question, I think it's a little bit similar to what Joe asked, but I think it's specific on preparing the project. So it's from Jackie Zhang. He asked, what is the most challenging part when preparing this project?
When preparing for the project, you know, we often say that the speeches, the shorter, the better, but actually the shorter speech is more challenging. And the most difficult part for preparing for the speech is that the reactions from the audiences. Just like I mentioned, you want to avoid cliche. You don't want to offend people, but actually if you want to be very polite, actually is a lot of cliche. And if you want to be very creative, you are so much afraid that you will offend the people. Especially, I like to make fun of people and I like to present it in a humorous way. Just like I mentioned, when I toast to Tim, I say, you are the golden single noble, you are the diamond single noble. So I discuss with him, do you mind if I say this? Yes. And the audience's responses is okay, I think it's fine. Okay, so do not offend people and try to avoid cliche. I think that is the most difficult part. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think it's the time for a last question. Because the next question I think is also about preparing. So let's jump to Paul's question. He asked, what makes giving social speeches fun? So that would be the last question for Doris.
Given social speech is fun, I think the most important is that you need to know some anecdotes. You need to know some stories with the object, with the person you want to honor or you want to give toast. And if you have some interactions with them, or you can collect some information about their anecdotes, and if they are not, if they don't mind that you reveal those little secrets, and I think that will make the toast very fun. For example, Paul, when he got drunk, he always played the guitar and sing the songs very ugly, something like that. And so first of all, you need to have some interaction with the person you are going to give the toast. And second, you need to make sure this you tell the anecdotes, don't offend them. That's my idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Doris. And actually, I still received some private messages from Yeah, from Neil actually, and or some other people. If you still have other questions, you can maybe personal message Doris, or after the meeting, we will have more time to discuss about that.
Okay.
Now let's move to the second part of this training. So as I mentioned, Doris session is project in level 3. And so if you just start your pathways, you will face the next project very soon. So our next demo is going to be on evaluate the evaluators. On our level 1, the third project, you will have to be an individual evaluator. And for beginners or new members, it's very scary because you just finished 3 speeches and now you're going to be the person to evaluate others. How do we conquer this fear? How do we do this well? That's the point of our second session today. So we will have a guest speaker delivering a speech, and then we will have 3 super evaluators evaluating Sarah's speech. And then we will have Lester Lin talking about how these 3 evaluators have different techniques, and he will give us a 15-minute workshop on how to be a good evaluator. So first, let's welcome Sarah, and her speech today is her level 1, project 2, evaluation and feedback. Very fit the topic. And her title is A Great Giver. Let's welcome Sarah.
Once upon a time, there was a tree, and she loved the little boy. Every day, she cut the tree, swinging on her branches and devouring her apples. The tree was happy, very, very happy. But time went by, the boy, the boy became a man, starting his adventure to in the outside world. The tree was often alone. Every time he came back to the tree, was always asking for something. I want to buy things I need to have some fun. I want money. I can give you all my apples to sell, and you will have money, and you will be happy. The tree was likewise happy to give all her branches, later her trunks, until there's nothing left of her but an old withering soul. This is one of my favorite stories. Are you the giver tree or the taker boy? Show me in front of the camera. And the host Jenny, please help me take a screenshot, okay? Giver tree or the taker boy. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. When I was younger, I devoted myself at work and family. I thought that was love, giving all my apples, branches, and trunks to the people that I really care about, just because I wanted to be a great helper and giver. I was so busy doing other people's job, literally ran out of my time to get my own work completed. I just care about them so much, my family, my colleagues, clients, or friends so much that I couldn't let them down. All of a sudden, however, I got lost. I got lost myself on the process of contribution, feeling like I was sucked into a dark, dark hole with deep sorrow surrounded. I couldn't stop crying again and again during the nighttime. One day, a morning kiss woke up my mind with lips softly, delicately, like butterfly wings, just low enough that I could sense the warmth of the sincere love. Mommy, get up! It's already 7. I'm hungry. Oh, okay. I'm working on it. Mommy, I'm tell you something. I really enjoyed my teachers sharing in yesterday's class, and I wanted to give some comments just like when you are evaluating people in Toastmasters meeting. Wow, I'm listening and I'm making your breakfast. We should love and help people, but don't forget to spare our love to nourish our soul and body, because we are the most meaningful existence of the world. I think this is a really good point of view because I'm always hungry. I couldn't just give all my cookies to others, but save some for me. Do you agree? Wow, of course, honey. And most important of all, it's not vulnerable or embarrassing to ask for help. So, mommy, I need milk, I need chocolate chips and cookies because I really need this to nourish, to enrich my soul and body in my life. Okay? On my way to the supermarket, I turned to think about how to save some for me. Save some for me. I don't have to be Mother Teresa or Gandhi as selfless givers. I just have to think to make a small way to add large value to others people's life, probably just 5 to 10 minutes. So it could be as simple as, say, making an introduction between two people who can benefit from knowing each other. Or it could be sharing or giving some valuable comments to others. Or it might be even as basic as saying, I know you will conquer it. I think you can make it. I have faith in you, and you are awesome. In that way, I know I could save more time to me to explore what I need, what I want, and how to ask for help, such as how to keep my profession and passion in teaching or interpreting. I've realized that success is really more about contribution. The most meaningful way to find my inner part of value is to help people succeed, loving to contribute and benefit from within. If I can spread this belief, I am turning myself from a frustrated giver into a happy, great giver. And I really wanted to live in a world like this, with helpful givers surrounded. I know I am on the way to it, and I also know I have you all behind my back. Back to the host, Jenny.
Thank you, our guest speaker, Sarah. This is a very interesting speech, and we're going to listen from our three super evaluators. Our first model evaluator today is Joseph Calpin. He's in Japan now, and that's the beautiful part of online meeting, that we can have people from the world. So let's welcome Joe to be the first evaluator.
So I love this story of a tree, starting out with almost a childlike story, a fairy tale, and how Sarah, she has just the right tone that brings the introduction just to stand out in a really nice way. This is great. And we're going to come back to this opening a few times in just a moment. Some other things that I liked here is the fact that you're able to sort of lay out a vision of what kind of giver you want to be, the sort of issues that you experience going from being a forced giver to falling into depression, how you rose out of it, and how you changed. And I think all of these aspects are really good, and it creates a story from beginning, middle to conclusion. So all of that structure is there and very, very strong, The voice work is also quite nice, especially in an online format like this, in a video format, that vocal variety becomes important. I really need to hear my little kid voice, as well as my narrator voice and that inner voice that I have. So all of those aspects, I think, help to lift the speech up. Now, if there's one thing I really want to try to hone in on for this speech, is that opening story. Because that opening story can be very, very valuable if we know how to use it as well as possible. Now, we talk about the tree and the giver. And at first, that story sounds like, oh, this giver took too much. And here, I think you needed to interact with that story just a little bit more. Oh, everyone thinks the giver is bad, but actually the tree has made its own mistake as well. And let that story of the tree kind of echo in different parts of your speech. So for instance, instead of being in a deep, dark hole, maybe you find yourself with no apples, no branches, and down to a tiny trunk withered away. And that way we're creating a stronger theme that rolls through the speech. The conclusion could also be about that tree and how you're now a strong, healthy tree that can provide apples without cutting off branches, where we've now struck the balance of being a giver. And I think that themes in our speeches that echo throughout can create a stronger product. And I think it's worth at least considering. And another thing that I think can kind of help with this and going into characters is also kind of adjusting our angle when we're looking. And this is the tricky part about having just one camera. There's not a lot of ways to kind of move, but I think kind of instead of slightly turning, actually looking in an opposite direction to create stronger characters. And with regards to those characters, I noticed that your child had a lot of philosophical, deep things to say, and I would try to maybe even put it in a simple, more childlike fashion, rather than enrich body and soul, maybe just make me a happier person. That way the tone is really, really appropriate for the child. Again, I think that the vocal variety and a strong opening story, and a story that has a good opening, body, and conclusion were all very powerful points. Let's take that opening, stretch it out, get it a part of the theme, and I think you're going to have a tree that's just going to keep exploding with fruit. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And right after I called Joe's name, I realized that he didn't even have time to prepare the evaluation. Well, that's the point of being model evaluator. So now you know, even if you just finished 3 speeches and about to take this project, evaluate the evaluators. Don't be afraid, because after practices, you can deliver evaluation right after the speeches, just like Joe. You know, even the second evaluator, Paul, has 2 to 3 minutes to prepare. So now let's welcome our second model evaluator, Paul Sharpe.
Sarah, your speech was very personal. And that's the thing I really enjoyed about your speech, was just how personal you were with that speech, how you got deep into that story with your kids, how you got deep into the story about your own emotions, how you got deep into that story, just sharing your own experiences about the pain of being someone who gives too much. Great speeches usually revolve around great personal stories. And those great personal stories usually have some pain, something that hurts. And I think today you kind of start to touch on the depth of the pain that you felt by giving too much, just like that tree. And I think this is the area where you can explore it a little bit more, that pain. Because I think the pain is something that I didn't quite feel. It felt like you were talking about it, but you weren't making me feel it. And I think great stories, we need to see the pain. We need to understand just how hurt you were. You can't just brush over all the painful parts of your experience. I was struggling to keep my career, I was struggling with my family, I felt a little bit empty. but make it deeper. Take me deeper into what you were actually suffering, what you were actually feeling. Take us into that valley and then bring us up again. Because the thing is that when we give these speeches, we want people to know that on the other side of that valley of hurt and pain, there is hope. There is a mountain that we can climb. And I think your hope came in, you know, I finally found a way to deal with this. I finally found what I wanted to give into this world. I finally found the things that I wanted to contribute to this world. And I think that's also where I got a little bit lost with the messaging of your speech as well. Because I think there were so many parts to that speech, I was really confused about what were you actually trying to say at the end. You start to talk about like, well, your view of success, but is that what you were trying to tell me? Or were you trying to tell me, what is your view of generosity? What is your view of how to give to people? What is your view of how to make this world a better place through contribution? Nothing to do about success. And I think that you need to bring that story, make it tighter, make us feel it more, and just be more focused with the story about how giving tore your life apart, but how you learned a way that giving could build your life back up again. Back to Session Master.
Thank you, Paul. Now we're about to have our last model evaluator. Queenie is going to be the last evaluator, and after that, Lester will tell us how different these three model evaluators techniques are. So let's welcome Queenie.
Hi, I'm Queenie. Today, Sarah's objective is to apply feedback received from last speech. As far as I know that last feedback from Evaluator is to bring more stories sticky. And I'm really, really happy that Sarah today bring the story with her and her son's conversation. It was like a picture painted in my brain. Particularly, I love the way she described poetic line like, a morning kisses wake up my mind with lips softly like a butterfly. It was so beautiful. Good job, Sarah. And I love the way you present yourself confidently and competently. The comfort level is super good. And I like your intonation. It was up and down, and with pauses, it was great. Eye contact, I love you try to engage with the camera. And I will suggest you can engage more, look at camera more specific, right to the point there. If I may give you suggestions, first is I love the way you use a metaphor as a beginning story. Giver tree versus taker boy. But you know, the core value of your speech is happy giver or unhappy giver. So my suggestion to you is unhappy giver tree versus happy giver tree story as a beginning, in more direct to the core value. The second suggestion I have for you is a stronger transition. I love the way you bring son's conversation, but transition seems a little bit rough. You need to transit smoothly. For example, you could add in after you tell the story, happy giver, and I really, really great. It's turned out to be a blessing for me. The third suggestion for you is a stronger conclusion. For example, I think you can add more. For example, you could say, a great giver is a happy giver. A great giver never run out of passion. A great giver who receive abundantly. A great giver believe in others. And these three suggestions will make you a great speaker. One is use good metaphor properly. Second is stronger transition. Third is stronger conclusions. Sarah, you are a good caring mother, and you are a great officer, and you are responsible co-worker teacher. And I'm very, very happy to be blessed.
Okay, thank you, Queenie. I think, yeah, Queenie's internet is not that stable. And as if you thought it's very difficult for the 3 model evaluators to evaluate in such a short time, now it's our guest speaker's challenge. But you know, he's really good. So we will have his evaluation first. Lester is going to separate his session into 2 parts. First, he will give a 8 to 10 minutes evaluation on the 3 evaluators. And later, he will give a 10 to 15 minute workshop on how to be an effective evaluator. So let's put our hands together and welcome Lester for the first part of his workshop. Yes, Lester, you're good to talk.
Just hospital after a terrible bike accident, breaking my collarbone in 3 places, arm in a sling, and boy, am I ever glad to be part of this meeting. Lift my spirits and join all of you here. Looks like we have 100-some people here, and let's get on with evaluating the evaluators. This is an interesting part of the new pathways to where we actually have speeches that are given, and then they're supposed to be the speaker is supposed to take the evaluations they received and incorporate it into their new speech. So, Joseph, he had the most challenging position to start off right off the bat as soon as Sarah's speech was done. It was good to see him with sporting his beard in Japan, and he got right into it. I love the story of a tree. And Joe, I think you did a great job of hitting a lot of the points. I had listened to a recording of this speech beforehand because I knew I'd be very busy listening to you guys and writing my notes. And you gave a great analysis of how the structure of the speech worked together, how the vocal variety gave life to the speech, which is on video. And in your suggestions, I agree very, very strongly with what you said. The opening story, there needed to be more interface with that story. I love, it's one of my favorite simple books, The Giving Tree. And I guess you haven't read it yet, but the role play, I felt, you know, the role play between the son or the boy and the tree was a little bit weak because, and you suggested the different angles as they're talking. So to more clearly define the participants in the story. And also you caught another thing, which I thought was great, was about the child's language being too sophisticated, mommy, mommy, and using very, very adult language. So I think good on that. And the one thing I'd like to suggest for improvement is, well, we always need to have the objective. You had no objective here, and this is important because actually, when I asked Sarah if she had the notes from her last evaluation, no, she did not have it. So we always have to focus on objectives. And of course, being in this situation, it was difficult to really get that objective. We were not able to know the suggestions from the previous evaluator, but So I think I can excuse you on that. National champion Joe Calpin from TGIF. Of course, we always have something great from him. Then we move on to Paul. Paul, you're bigger than life in life, and then you're even bigger on screen. Your voice is so commanding and very clear. There's no question of what you're communicating. The way that you have your brand new Canon G7 multimedia camera set up worked very well, got a good angle of you, and we could see the vocal variety. And I like how you really encapsulated something that would really help this speech. You said, we need to feel the hurt. And I concur 100% that when you're giving and giving and giving, and you're just draining yourself. Sara, you talked about crying at night, okay? Because you felt like you'd given so much, you've got nothing to give. And we really needed to know more of that. And I think that was an extremely good point. The suggestion to tighten up and focus on this, on what would be the core of the story, because yes, we were distracted between should we be a giver, what is success, and all this. I also agree there to tighten it up. And also, I think, as similar to Brother Joe, there was no talk about objective. And as an evaluator, we always have to think about, okay, what is the objective? Unless it's a contest speech, but this is not a contest speech. And actually, I think you had more time to have a great conclusion. I was watching the clock and you had just finished and going into the red. You had 30 more seconds to really bring a stronger conclusion. It seemed like you saw the red flag, closed your briefcase, and dropped it back to the Zoom master. But you could have gone back to remind Sara, please show us more of the pain. Please focus and tighten up the focus of your speech. Bring it into laser focus and make a bigger impact. But all in all, again, you never see Paul do a bad evaluation, and they're always amazing. So congratulations, Paul. Now, to the queen of the night, Queenie. Wow, I saw you in the back of Paul's video, sitting there with your head down and really under the pressure to follow up national champion Joseph Calpin and expert evaluator Paul Sharpe, and have to follow up. And Queenie, you delivered in spades. Very proud of you that the gal can hold her own. So you did talk about the objective, and no, I'm sorry. You gave feedback on the butterfly kiss, okay? And your observations of the vocal variety and aspects of the story were very warm and only in a way that a woman can do it. So you really caught me into the warmth of your speech. And you noted how Sara's engagement with the camera and the vocal variety really brought it to life, was very applicable for a Zoom meeting. Then you talked about metaphor, okay? The story of the tree being a metaphor. And you started talking about a stronger transition, but you also ran into technical problems. So I didn't hear much of what you were talking about there at that point. But but on the point of the stronger transmission, moving from the tree to the mommy, I think for me, that was a point where the speech really woke up, okay? The vocal variety being a little bit sing-songy in the very beginning, and it was comfortable to listen to, but it was hard for me to differentiate the different characters of the Giving Tree story. But then when Sarah's daughter came in, how it just really brightened it up. And you did mention how her vocal variety of her child was so well done. You actually were the one evaluator where I was extremely satisfied with the conclusion. I thought you were able to take your walk back down through the suggestions that you had given. And I saw that you had just turned into the red point where Paul quit. And you were able to out-endure your husband, because in the last 30 seconds, you were able to give an extremely good conclusion. So I just hit my 10-minute mark. I think that is, I will conclude my evaluation of the evaluators. Back to you, Jenny.
Thank you, Lester. Yeah, that's such a tongue twister. Lester finished his evaluation on the evaluators, and now he's going to teach us how to be an effective evaluator. Even more tongue twisters. Now, Lester has 15 minutes on giving the session. So back to Lester again.
Okay, let me share my screen here. Okay, are we live now? Everyone see the screen? So it's such a privilege to be able to give an evaluation workshop, 15 minutes. Normally I like to take about an hour to give a workshop, but I'm gonna zoom on fast and try to get along quickly with this workshop. Let me see, there we go. The monkey doesn't know his ass is red. So basically, we're usually blind to our own weaknesses and our bad traits and habits. And that's why we need evaluators. And the objective of being an evaluator is that we help to sharpen each other. Toastmasters, we don't have any professional trainers and paid trainers, so we actually help each other to improve. What is your objective as an evaluator? You want to help the speaker to grow. We're here to help each other. And we want to see each person grow. And to do that, our job as an evaluator is to listen very carefully to the speech and give an honest opinion of why we like the speech, and also what we can do, what we would suggest to improve the speech. And also, we want to do it in a way that builds people up. I cannot give more emphasis on this matter. When you're done evaluating someone, that they are encouraged to go out and go after their next speech. We have members from Alpha Toastmasters here. They used to be the MOFA Club. And MOFA Club used to say that diplomacy is like telling someone to go to bloody hell and that they will look forward to going there, okay? So when we actually give our evaluations with great diplomacy, we'll be honest and frank with people. We'll also pat them on the back, but they will look forward to going on further on their path. So the next thing I want to encourage you is whether you have an evaluation position or not in a meeting, you have lots of time to practice. And every time someone gives a meeting, I would encourage you, if you want to improve as an evaluator, to actually take notes as if you're an evaluator. Look for the things that you like, look for suggestions to improvements, and also how you would conclude those thoughts. And even better, write those down and give those thoughts to the speaker. So if you're ready to take a leap to do an evaluation, the first question most people that are new to evaluation is, where do I start? Oh my gosh, this is so nerve-wracking. I don't get any time to prepare, and then I've got to get up there and speak. Well, look on the bright spot. You don't have to take any time to prepare. You just show up at the meeting, you go there, and you got to really concentrate, and you get an opportunity to speak. Do that as often as you can, because you will grow. The next thing to take is to take away your nervousness, because it's just 3 minutes, baby. Everybody say that with me. It's just 3 minutes, baby. So that should take out some of the nervousness. No matter what, even if you just can't even say anything and you get disqualified after a minute, well, you're not going to die from it, but you do have opportunity in front of you. Let's start with just a few things that are common pitfalls and not to do in an evaluation is don't rerun the whole speech. Don't tell the whole speech again. This is not a book report. You're here to help the speaker to improve. So you want to tell what you like, but not tell the whole story again. Give improvement, suggestions for improvement. The other thing is, don't pat the horse's ass. Don't just think that the only thing that you have to do is to laud the praises, put it on thick and heavy in order to make the person just feel good, because they do need to improve. They're here in Toastmasters to improve, and give them things they can work on. The next thing is to prepare. You've got to get the manual or the pathways evaluation sheet. You should read the evaluation sheet, and you need to get ready to talk about the objectives and know the objectives while you're listening. Everything should be on the backdrop of objectives. I sort of panicked on this part of this workshop because actually I've not done a lot of transition for specifically talking about the pathways, various things, but you know what? Actually, they're quite the same. We still have icebreakers, we have the various speeches, we have researching and presenting, all these kind of things. And when you get to the second page of the pathways evaluation sheet, you are going to need to circle different parts of this, of the evaluation form. And you're going to be looking for clarity of spoken language, vocal variety, eye contact, gestures, audience awareness, comfort level, interest, and applied feedback. In this case, did the speaker apply the feedback she got from a previous evaluation? So this is what you'll be looking at as part of the evaluation form. And then you will also have to do other comments on the evaluation. Of course, we still are in the regular Toastmasters grace time. So when you have a regular non-pathways speech, be sure to know specifically what objective the person is talking about. And a lot of your suggestions should be related to how well did the speaker accomplish the objective. If it was researching a topic and it was all jokes, that is not appropriate. In speaking in real life, we always have objectives to what we have to speak. If you're supposed to give announcements, did you give them clearly? If you are supposed to give a financial report, did you break it down and make it understandable? So we speak with objectives, and as an evaluator, always look at how did we accomplish the objectives. That should be part of your comments. The other thing in a very short evaluation workshop, I'm going to concentrate on observations. You know, we have the best practice of evaluation is that you really focus in on someone's speech. You hunker down and you try to shut everything out and you concentrate on every word coming out because you are under the gun, because you know that in a little bit afterwards in the meeting, you're going to have to talk and give an evaluation, which should have an opening, body, and conclusion. You need to talk intelligibly about the speech. So you're under a lot of pressure, and the practice of concentrating and then having to deliver very quickly thereafter is an excellent training field for your mind to listen, analyze, digest, and give feedback. So one of the things I'll use as an example is when we are browsing Facebook and we have emojis. We have the likes, the loves, the ha-has, the wows, the sad, the angry, okay? And so basically, as you're listening to the speech, tune into your emojis and make note of how the speech is impacting you. You know, for Paul, he was listening to the speech and he felt there was a disconnect between the pain that was being expressed in words and actually the pain that he felt as a listener, okay? So this is how you're able to take your own reaction, and that's all that we have to give. It's our own opinion, our own reaction, our own emotions while we were listening to the speech. And these are very important because this is what communication is about. The other thing that's very important is that you should be looking for 2 to 3 things that you liked and why you liked them, okay? So no matter what, you've got to find something that you like. And I want to interject something here is that we have a very fixed time of doing a speech, okay? And just as a note, something to put in here, because this helped me tremendously to know how to appropriate time, is that as you're speaking, if by the time you see the green flag, you're not already well into your first suggestions, you need to shut down all your likes and all your compliments and start getting into your suggestions for improvement, okay? If you see the green and you're not already into your improvements, transition into improvements. That's a very key thing that has helped me tremendously. As well as 2 or 3 things to like. And I'd probably, maybe the more I do this, the more I think I'm thinking you should look just for 2 things that you like and then 2 things for improvement. You should be looking for what could be done to improve this speech, okay? So you have only certain time, and this is the way to divide it up. So in observation, it's what my eyes are seeing, my ears are hearing, and what my heart is feeling, okay? This helps you to sort of get in tune with yourself to get into the mindset of evaluating. Here we have one of our previous great speakers from Alpha, Joyce. So we need to be watching the usage of all the normal areas of good public speaking. And when I showed you that pathways chart that you have to fill in, it does address many of these areas, okay? So the body language, facial expressions, how did they make eye contact with you or not make eye contact? What was their use of the floor space? Did they purposely make use of the stage to express location or time and allocate different parts of the stages for these various things? Okay, things to observe like that. How were they dressed? Okay, so was it appropriate for the speech? and posture and stance. How did they carry themselves? What kind of atmosphere did they exude to you as a person? The next thing is, I'm sorry, I lost it there. Okay, so along with the visual appearance, sometimes in our speeches, we need to use props. How were the PowerPoints done? The charts, what kind of mental imagery did it bring you into while watching the speech? Okay, and no matter what, even if the speech is a total mess, find something to compliment. Oh, I like the color of your socks. They really look good on you, or something like that. Okay, so basically we have all these various aspects of language. How did their language impact you? Were there good terms used? If they're doing a research-oriented presentation, did they actually quote research? Did they actually note the sources? Things like this, okay? And how was the audience interaction? Observe the audience as the speaker talked. Was there lots of laughter? Did people look confused? And they get angry along with the person if they were giving the emotion of anger? Could they feel it? Could they feel the hurt? Okay, so get in touch with the audience reaction to emotions and things like this. And finally, we can look at the structure of the speech, like Joe did so well. The opening, body, and conclusion. How did they open? When they got on the stage, how did it make me feel? Was the body logical? Did it transition well? Did the conclusion end with something that just really anchored into my mind? Okay, was the objective accomplished? And how was the time control? Very important. So basically, we want to talk about the structure. And how did the conclusion end? Did you just felt like you fell off a cliff? It stopped so suddenly, you wondered where did the speech go? Or did it end smoothly? And did it end with bravado? So, basically I've covered here in this short evaluation workshop, observing, really tune in and try to see the little things that someone else didn't see. Try to see things that are insightful. Observe appearance. Be in tune with your ears. Feel your heart. And basically, at the end of the day, when you give your evaluation, those are the things that you want to communicate to the speaker. Now, I see a lot of advanced people here on this meeting. I think there are things that we can do as far as that could have talked about as far as templates, various ways to use acronyms and the role play, actually taking on the character of the speech and using that as your evaluation. But those are things that you develop as you go on that you can use as far as creativity. But the observation is so important to uplift someone and to encourage them and to make their path as a Toastmaster speaker worthwhile and always improving. That concludes my evaluation workshop. It's great to be out of the hospital and with you all. So thank you, and back to you, Jenny.
Thank you, Lester. And I still remember when I first listened to Lester's evaluation session, Facebook reminded me that 5 years ago yesterday, we went all the way from NCCU to Prestige to listen to Lester's evaluation session. And before the end of his session, he said, find a model. And I realized that the reason why I kept nodding during his session, because I learned from him. So of course, all the techniques I try to use are from him. So I hope everyone learned something from Lester today. And now we have some Q&A sessions. We have, let's have 5 minutes. So the first question I received was from Joe. He asked, do you have any suggestions specific for doing online meetings? Do we need to talk about things like camera issues?
Are these for me?
Yes, for Lester.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, great question, Joe. I think as we've braving into a whole new world of online Toastmasters meetings, I had a very blasé expectation when I attended my first Zoom meeting, and I came away extremely impressed. You know, it's just, you're engaged and you actually, you can even chat with people while things are going on. But one of the things to remember is that the audience is that little hole somewhere on your computer that's your camera, okay? And I know I realized myself that my picture is off on the left, so as I was talking, a lot of times I was looking like this and not looking at you, the audience, okay? We have to adapt. We have to realize that this is a new world. Also, I think, as notice in being part of Toastmasters meetings and watching different people speak, the lighting is very important. So when you are preparing to be in a meeting, look to make sure that the light to your face is enough and that your background is not brighter than the light that's on your face. Otherwise, you're going to look a little bit shadowy. I would say that, Sarah, you could have probably, that would have helped improve your speech a little bit, to have a brighter light on your face so it would look much more clear. It was a little bit dark. And yeah, I like Joe's suggestion that, okay, since we can't look at the audience, well, I guess we could look at the audience here and there, but you could also change, continue looking at the camera. Oh, mommy, I want cookies. And, oh, okay, I'll go, I'll think about that. I'm cooking right now. So we have to sort of get our mind into a different mode of communicating and who's watching and where you're watching from. Okay, back to you, Jenny.
Okay, due to the time, I think we only have time for one more question. Is there a structure for capturing the points, capturing everything in points?
Can you say that one more time?
Well, the question, I don't understand that very well. Or maybe who asked this question? Could you say it yourself? Is there a structure for capturing them in points? No? Or?
Well, okay.
Okay, capturing speech. Capturing speech in points. Okay.
So when I'm an evaluator, I'm actually probably a very poorly organized person. I don't have the mind of Paul Sharp and Neil Stovacek out there who can listen to a speech and just get right up there and deliver from memory with all the points that they've been noting. I would guess that most of the audience is more like me, okay? And so when there you go. When I am taking notes, trying to capture points, I mean, this is the Zoom artificial, okay. When I'm taking notes, I'm scribbling stuff down, and basically what I try to do when I'm making my notes is if it's something that I especially like, okay, I'll put a check mark by something. So these are the likes that, specific things I liked about the speech. And when I see suggestions for improvements, then I'll put a circle with an X on there. So I can look at this mumble jumble that's out here on my paper, which wouldn't mean anything meaningful to anybody else, but then I can look for my the things that I liked and suggestions for improvement. So I don't know, the other way, we should probably have Paul and Neil Stochek do a workshop on how to get those things in your mind without notes, but I am the least qualified person for that.
Okay, thank you, Lester. So we're about time to finish the training. And before that, I'm going to give out some certificates for all the leaders who put efforts into this meeting and help us have this great session today. Oh, it's stuck. So the first, I'd like to thank all the support team. Why it's so slow? So before the meeting, you must see a lot of pretty posters. They're made by Alex Shi. And let's thank our support team, Sara Ye as the guest speaker, Joseph Calpin, Paul Sharpe, and Queenie Lu Sharpe as the model evaluators, and David Chang, who's helping us keep the Zoom meeting very quiet. He's the Zoom master today and help us spotlight the speakers. And Regina Zhen, she's the timer today, and it's very complicated because with 2 trainers and different evaluation speakers, a lot of different timing rules. So thank you all of them to support this event. Next, we'd like to thank our trainer. First is Doris. Doris prepared a lot for this session, and I was still talking with her this morning about how she's going to convey her session. And last will be, of course, our Lester. He just finished his session, and if you have more questions for Doris and Lester, you can reply on our Facebook post later after the video, the recorded video is posted on Facebook later today. And I think before we end the meeting, we're going to have screenshots of pictures. And because my print screen is broken, I'll need more time to take the picture of all of you. And we have 100 and, well, the most we had 130 people, and now we have 111 people now. So that's all have maybe thumbs up or whatever gestures you'd like. And I will take the pictures of everyone. So now I'm going to take the picture of the first group. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I think my laptop is really hot right now, like because of the online meeting. Or can anyone help me with that? It's really slow right now.
So is there anyone can help with the screenshot?
Okay, let me do that. Jenny, let me do that.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank you so
now if you are going to in the group photo, please remember to turn on your video. And now we have 2 pages. So, okay. All right, so just follow my countdown and remain your pose, maybe for 5 seconds to make sure the video, the picture is already make it. All right, so the first gestures, do whatever you like, thumbs up or have a love or anything. Okay. All right, first one, 3, 2, 1, cheese. Wait a second. Okay, the next page. All right, another gestures.
多少钱？
All right, 3, 2, 1, cheese. Wait a second. All right, one more, the last one, the last one. All right, 3, 2, 1, cheese. Wait a second. All right, great. Thank you very much. Thanks for everyone. Jenny, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jackie, for saving me. Yeah, I was. Oh, and Lester said he wants to have one last short comment. What's that,
Yeah.
Lester?
Okay. Yeah. Am I on now? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you,
Okay.
Lester.
So, you know, one last thing is I'd like to give a very warm invitation for any of you to come visit Born to Shine, TGIF, the 2 clubs on Friday nights, every Friday nights. Between the 2 clubs, we've had 4 national evaluation champions. And in our club, I'm always blown away by the quality.
5 national champions.
Yes, I'm sorry. 5 national champions. And I'm always blown away by the quality of the evaluations from even the young members. And the reason is that they just grow up in an environment where they are listening consistently to good evaluations. And the other thing is that we have 4 meetings a month, and a lot of the dual members attend every single meeting. So when you have that consistent type of training, it really makes an impact, and then great evaluations come naturally. So we would always love our visitors. We feel like if you come through our doors, you're a VIP guest that God himself sent, and we want to treat you accordingly. And we would love to see you at our meetings. And also you'll probably get a chance to hear a lot of from national evaluation champions during the meetings. Okay, thank you. And thanks for your a great time, for being a great audience for the workshop.
Thank you so much. And thank you again, all the participants, for attending our second Pathways Interactive Online Training. This is a series of Pathways Online Training held by District 67. This one is deliver social speeches and evaluate the evaluators. I hope all of you learned something today, and that's the end of this session. Hope you all have a good night. See you.
Good night.